And welcome to the We Like Sportz Podcast. This is your host, Ed in Columbus. I'm with my man, Casey. Casey, how's it going, my guy?
I'm good. How are you doing, Ed? Everything good in Columbus?
Doing real well. Yeah, it's a nice summer day, about 80 degrees in the capital city in Ohio. So,
80 degrees. Yeah, Jesus Christ. 60 in Cleveland. I'm in Cleveland this week. I don't know if I told you.
Oh,
I'm
that's
in Cleveland
right. Yes. Up from Florida, you migrated. Usually it's the other way
Correct.
around.
I went to the Guardians game yesterday. Yeah, I was at the Guardians. They won. So I saw that firsthand.
Oh, wow. We are going to speak plenty of Guardians as they took 4-6 over this past homestand. Had 155,000 people. It's good to see the people of Cleveland supporting the team. It's not like they haven't been, but, it's nice to actually see them at Progressive Field where the Dolans maybe can use some of that money down the road and maybe acquire some players. But that's
we'll see. We'll see.
Another story for another day. But we have a special guest today, Casey. We got our man, Alan Arraez from Let's Talk Sports. But you know what? He's in everything. I've been on a couple shows with him. He's everywhere. He's the hottest thing on Let's Talk Sports. I'll get him on here so he can plug himself. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, Alan. How you doing, my guy?
Oh, doing good. Hottest thing? Probably not, but, still going strong either way, man.
That's how we live. But Alan, I know you got a couple shows, so go ahead and plug yourself a little bit, and then I'll have you plug yourself at the end because it's all about self-promotion.
So, we're talking, we said we'll be talking baseball today. We have our baseball show normally on Tuesdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Scott Cope, and Jonathan Grishman, who's a former minor league player. The three of us do a baseball show every Tuesday at 4 p.m., as I said, Eastern time, I should say. And then Wednesdays, usually do a morning show with Scott as well. This Wednesday, we're going to be doing State of the Franchise, which is a show I had Ed on, as Ed and Bobby G on to talk Cleveland Browns. This week, we're talking LA Chargers with Rob Logan, so that's going to be a fun one. And then do a vlog show on Sunday, and then whatever else Dan wants me to do.
Okay. So wow, you're a busy guy. You are a busy guy. But
I tweeted this out earlier. This was my fourth guest appearance in 4 days. So I'm
Ed, you got to step your game up, man. Alan's making you look bad.
I do, Alan. Yes, you're definitely.
I'm trying to challenge Bobby G for all the guest appearance spots. So.
Well, Bobby G, the only thing I gotta say about Bobby G is he always looks so dapper with his orange and brown on, so because he is a Cleveland Browns fan as well. Alan, I know you're a big Cowboys fan. You're a big.
I gotta rock the silver and blue, man.
So I ask every Cowboys fan this. I talked about it last week. Ed should remember this. Is Dak Prescott the answer for the Cowboys? I've ran into a few people that are from Dallas, and all 2 or 3 that said no, he's not the answer. So, Alan, what do you think? Do you think he's leading the promised land? Is he the quarterback for the future?
He has to be, otherwise he's gone. If you can't get him there, then he's likely done. I don't think he is personally. I think, if the best that they can do is probably a divisional round again, they have to get to the NFC Championship game. If they don't, the Cowboys are going to probably be looking for another quarterback in the offseason.
So let's say if you win away from Dak, what do you think? What you want to do? Who would it be? What's the path you want to take? Would it be draft? Because you guys would be probably on 20th rank. Maybe high if you had a bad season, right? High teens, low 20s.
The thing is that Jerry's probably going to try to keep Dak around because he's consistently winning them games in the regular season, and that's
Romo.
That's kind of like something Tony Romo did, yeah. And oddly enough, we had this conversation last night: who was better, Romo or Dak? And most of us still said Tony Romo was still better. So, if I had to guess, they would probably still keep Dak around, but they would get somebody to groom for the future. I would not be surprised to see Derek Jones kind of make a play for maybe a first-round quarterback next year with as many solid NFL ready quarterbacks that are be coming out in next year's draft. Drake May is a guy that I'm looking at out of North Carolina who I really, really like a lot. There's a couple of them. The kid from Miami is Tyler Van Dyke is another one that could be a potential steal for another team. So there's plenty of quarterbacks. Obviously, you're not going to get Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going number 1 regardless of who's there. So, I mean, that would be the ultimate get, but I don't think it'll happen. So,
what do you think about getting rid of Zeke?
I mean, it was necessary to get that contract out. The thing is, he might still be back. They might still bring him back, but they might bring him back on a cheaper deal. So,
That's
I
valid.
would not be surprised at all if he ended up back in a Cowboy uniform at the start of training camp.
So.
Well, I know we're talking a lot of pigskin. I love it, but let's go around the diamond real quick, and then we'll hit some other topics. I'm sure we're going to circle back to the National Football League because they say baseball is the national pastime, but it's really the NFL is like a crack addiction, and no matter what, we can talk about it 365. So let's go some baseball. And I know you're a Rangers fan, Alan, but let's talk about the Cleveland Guardians, and then I got some Rangers baseball as well.
Plus, we get to hear a different perspective now. It's not just the Cleveland perspective of the Guardians.
Perspective.
Also, thank you for beating Houston. That was very much appreciated.
I was there, so you're welcome. You're welcome. I was there.
That was very much appreciated to make sure that we keep our lead. So,
okay, I'm gonna throw some stuff out, and then I'm gonna go around. Casey, I'm gonna throw some stuff. So a game and a half back of the Twins. So we're in the rearview mirror. We won 4 out of 6 at home. Bieber yesterday, 7 innings,
best game of the year.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it was his best game of the year, man.
So my thing with you, Casey, is give me the state of the Guardians and tell me what you would do with Bieber and with this West Coast road trip coming up. What do you think the mentality of the Cleveland Guardians are right now?
All right, so it's tricky, right? So we've got the sad reality is David Fry. Don't think's the answer. Mike Zunino, sadly, I don't see him as the answer either. Cam Gallagher's the bright side. Offensively blows just like the rest of them, but defensively he's top 5. I saw with stopping pass balls, and he threw someone out last night. 2 nights ago, Zunino threw 2 in center field. So if he's not contributing behind the plate or at the plate, I thought he was a good signing, but so far he's not doing much. The hot talk is Bo Naylor. You look at any Guardians pictures on Instagram, guess what the comments are? Bo Naylor. Even if it has nothing to do with Bo Naylor, he's in the comments. So I think that, like you said I think you or Drew might have said last week, just get him up because what's he taking? Taking at bats away from who? Is it really hurting us by bringing Zunino or Gallagher or Fry down? No, I don't think so. My other concern would be Arraez. I did say last week he's looking good, but over the last week since I said that, I think Freeman's the one that's kind of pulling away and looking more impressive than Arraez is looking, right? And Freeman yesterday had 2 hits, it was 2 for 2. Another good news is Josh Bell. After his paternity leave, he's came back pretty hot. He had a deep home run yesterday off the bullpen netting. If that wasn't there, it went in the bullpen, and that's deep center field. So that was impressive. Naylor, he's heating up. Ramirez is heating up. Even Jimenez is heating up too. So I think we're on the right path. The Twins are going like this, and we're kind of going up like this. It all depends on our pitching. We just fought Karen check down. So it just depends on how our bullpen, they were steady last year. They were good last year. This year so far, you're not too comfortable. Whenever they come in, it's a worry. And then with Bieber, I don't know, because with Bieber, it's tricky because I'm sure you guys saw the same article saying that we're not going to get what we want from Bieber, right? No one views him as a playoff changing guy. So I would, I don't know. If he plays the way he does until the trade deadline, I think we'll get something good for him. But I don't know. I want to
ask you. I want to push back on that whole thing because the thing about it is, okay, so say you get rid of Bieber, okay, and then you make a playoff push. Those are best of 7 series after the division series. If we get rid of Bieber, do we have enough pitching? Like everybody thinks, oh, we got pitching, we need hitters. But you take Bieber off, and it's like I think that we're missing starting pitching.
I know it's what I'm saying. It's tough because what would you want back? What do you think's a good trade? Because we're not going to trade them for young guys. No, I don't think, right? I think we're going to trade him for a guy that is, makes a difference at the time. So I don't know who we would get. We can't
waste this. Here's the thing: we can't waste this season. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, you'd have to get hitters that are major league ready now, and I just don't feel that anything in trade value that we would get back. I think that would be mostly prospects. So I say you keep them the rest of the year and trade them and roll the dice with them.
Yeah. Plus, how long do you think that the Central will suck, right? We've gotten lucky. The AL Central has not been too good, right? Over the last handful since 2016, realistically, right? Since we've been good. So how long is it going to last? Another 5 years? No. The Twins, the White Sox, the Tigers, were good for 10 straight years back when we sucked. And they killed us. So I think this is the perfect time for us to try to take advantage of that weak division like we have been doing. And I think that the Bieber thing tears me apart because after yesterday's game in person, it was impressive. Like that was definitely his best game of the year, And then McKenzie, we talked about McKenzie. He started so good that first game,
and then
that's
the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like he's going to take some time to figure it out. He's going to have some ups and downs. If Bieber can be the one constant rock that gets us through the season, I don't know how you get rid of. He's still an ace. Last time I checked.
Correct. I mean, he's one of those Texas Rangers pitchers, that are looking so hot right now. But
yes, I want to welcome Drew to the show. Drew, welcome, my guy. What are your takes on the Guardians?
Interesting weekend. I'm kind of with Casey. I just caught the tail end of it. It was a great outing by Bieber. I just don't know what it does for the tribe, right? You had kind of a polar opposite with McKenzie that you had before. We're still pre All-Star break. They're still hovering around 500, which is exactly what everybody here said in our preseason show. So I don't know what to make of it. I think the offense is lacking.
But do you feel that they are getting hotter? Like to Casey's point, they are scoring some runs now. I mean, they scored 10 against Houston on Friday, and they scored 5. So the bats are heating up a little bit. But I am to your point, Drew. I'm a little concerned that hopefully they can continue to stay that way for at least a month.
Yeah, it's whether they can stay consistent, which is I think what we talked about last week, Ed, was they have these moments where you're like, okay, they're kind of getting it together. And then all of a sudden, either the pitching shuts down or the bat. And it's not like there's much middle ground with this team. It's not like they frequently have one or the other. They're just so consistently inconsistent.
Yeah, one game's promising, one game is the complete opposite.
Yep.
Alan, what is your perspective out where you're at? Because I would love to. I know you're a big Rangers fan. When you look at the Guardians, do they scare you? What do you think of them, and how do they fit in the American League? Would you say they're upper echelon? Do you think their team's still trying to find themselves? What's your take on the Guardians?
I don't think we scare them. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we scare them.
Well, I was about to say the running joke on our show, on our baseball show every Tuesday, is that unfortunately we're contractually obligated to talk about the AL Central. But I will say this, from what I've seen this weekend, we're starting to see the Guardians kind of be what we thought they were going to be this year. A lot of people thought, maybe they could be the team to challenge the Yankees out in the American League. Maybe they could make the run. The Guardians are a second half team. Let's just not beat around the bush here. The Guardians were a second half team last year. They've been like that for the last few years. They usually catch fire in the second half, and they get, they're usually one of the hottest teams in baseball going into the postseason. So it would not surprise me to see Cleveland kind of, get on a tear here to try and, they're going to catch Minnesota. I don't trust Minnesota right now. I don't really trust Detroit at all. White Sox, that they're going to be sellers at the deadline. I've heard rumors that we might be interested in making a trade with them to get some of the better bullpen depth for us, because God knows we need it. And then Kansas City is going to be a non-factor. So I think
it's like the Athletics. Yeah, it's the Athletics in your division.
If anything, I could see Cleveland. I think they're starting to play like we expected them to a little bit. Yet there is those question marks of, are they going to be on a consistent basis? But it just seems like to me, like if there's one team in this division that's going to catch fire and going to start playing consistent baseball, it's going to be Cleveland. And you're going to see it, towards the end of this month, towards the All-Star break. That's when Cleveland's going to start catching fire, and that's when they're going to start playing better baseball, I feel.
I agree. Because even last year, to your point, Alan, I didn't really. It boggles my mind. But when I look at the stat in like October, they were 24-6 when they really, at the end of the year last year. And that's what really won them the division, and to your point, if they were in the AL West or even the AL East, obviously they couldn't be hovering around, 500 and then making their moves. So, I know you're contractually obligated to talk about the AL Central. We appreciate that as Guardians fans, because, we can't help it what division we're in. Hopefully we can make a push and obviously, build a lead before the All-Star break. I'd like to, Casey, wouldn't you like, Drew, wouldn't you like a 5-game lead by the All-Star break? I mean, it's not unreasonable to think at this point you get hot and the Twins keep hovering. They just need to go win maybe, 10 games or, I'm saying 10 out of 13, 10 out of 14, just get really, really hot. And I know they go to San Diego this Tuesday, so we'll see what happens. Anytime you play a National League team, it's, it's kind of,
Oh, San Diego's
we're going to the West.
That good of a team either, so it's like.
Well, I know, but it's different.
We've got the Padres, the Diamondbacks, and the Brewers are the teams we got coming up.
You're gonna have to have a run of some kind, and pray the rest of the division continues to be mediocre. That's what it's gonna come down to, because I think the way every other division is going, you're gonna have to win the division to make the playoffs. I don't foresee the AL Central bringing multiple teams to the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
So we talked last week about, and if you look at the Twins schedule coming up, it's the Brewers 4-game series against the Tigers and the Red Sox following that. So I don't know, it's around 500 teams except for the Tigers are playing, and like I said, we have the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks are first place in their division, like we talked last week. So it's for now, correct for now. And like so. Well, there's going to go to the Rangers talk if you would like, since Alan.
Yeah, well, that's right, Casey. You read my mind, Casey. I was just going to say, let's go to the Rangers here.
So Alan, we went through the entire roster last week of the Rangers. So we are a little familiar with the Rangers team, because we were all three of us were surprised that they're where they're at, right? With who they have, the pitchers they have to us, maybe to you going into the season, aren't huge names. Right? I don't think you expected them to be in first place, right? They were surprised. You do have the best catcher in the league on your team with Sandy Leon. So I mean that's a game changer you got behind the plate there. But former Guardian. But other than that, it's DeGrom. You go ahead with that. If we talked about it, we knew he was hurt. But then right after our show, we figured out that he was out for the year with Tommy John. Then
it was like immediately after.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
You're going to be proud of me, Casey and Drew, and this is to you, Alan, to show my Ranger knowledge. But obviously with the Jacob deGrom injury and everything, I was like, well, who do the Rangers have? I know we went over their roster last week and we said some names, but Casey, I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of these names, I don't really know who they are, but I'm going to talk about a couple. Nathan Eovaldi and John Gray, they are picking up the slack. Eovaldi with a 2.24 earned run average and a 5.50 strikeout to walk ratio. Gray 2.51 earned run average, not quite so good, but 2.55 strikeout to walk ratio. So that they're getting it done with those guys. And then obviously, what's keeping the Rangers afloat are they're projected to go over 1,000 runs with their offense this year. That would be the third team ever to do that in Major League Baseball. The first since the 1999 Cleveland Indians, and yes, Cleveland Indians, and that's the first time since integration. So, the Rangers are on pace to do some good things, but, obviously losing DeGrom, but they got some two pitchers I just named holding it down. Alan, tell us about your Texas Rangers. I know they're beating the cover off the baseball, but they're also getting it done on the hill as well.
I was going to say, let's not forget Martin Perez either, who was the star from last year. Yep. The star from last year, our ace last year, who
that's what we figured out.
All-star. Only All-Star.
We talked about that.
So
he had no good season really up to last season. He had a great. I pulled up the stats last week.
Came out of nowhere.
Killed it last year. Came out of nowhere.
And now you got. That's why the loss of DeGrom doesn't hurt as much, because you've got that three-headed monster with Perez and Eovaldi and Gray, who are all pitching very well. And not only that, Dane Dunning coming out of the bullpen and being a solid starter as well. The big issue has obviously been the bullpen, because the bullpen has just been, oh my God, I don't even want to talk about it at times.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about how is your bullpen? Is that why you have to score so many runs to keep it?
That's why they have to score so many runs. It's like, not even. That's why the running joke is not even our bullpen can save you this time.
Dunning has a couple saves and holds too, doesn't he? He's coming out of the bullpen to start the year.
Yeah, he was a starter though, wasn't he?
He's been our long reliever this year.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
and they moved him into DeGrom's spot when DeGrom went down. So, and he's been pitching well. Many people are thinking, maybe we should go get a starter to kind of round out that rotation. Thinking maybe somebody out of Chicago, maybe White Sox, maybe bring one of them in and to kind of round it out and maybe put Dunning back in the bullpen. But it hasn't been too bad. There's been some bright spots. It's just the latter part of the bullpen has just been very, very bad and inconsistent at times. So it's like that's really the one flaw you can see in this team is that the bullpen has just been horrific, while everything else.
That's what always helped the Guardians in the past for our strong bullpen. So we know having a good bullpen is huge because when it comes to those tight games, you need to have a bullpen you can rely on. So believe us, it is critical to have a strong bullpen towards the end of the season for sure.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, you mentioned the hitting. Some of the All-Star ballots were, the current updated standings for the All-Star game were released in like half of it's all Texas Rangers. So it's like I feel like we're like not only a year ahead of schedule, we're like 2 years ahead of schedule, I feel, because I felt like, we were going to be about a 500 team, maybe, floating around in there. But and I'll say, and we've said this on our baseball show the last few weeks, is that potentially the best offseason transaction out of any team, player, coach, whatever, has been Bruce Bochy. Because with Bruce Bochy being brought in, a 3-time World Series winner, it's basically, we joke about it. It's basically the swift kick in the ass that the Rangers needed, and well, they got it. They finally got it. So, and then they're starting to play like a championship caliber team now. So this is the best start that they've had in franchise history. Wow. Best 60-game start that they've had in franchise history, which is unbelievable. Even better than the World Series teams, which is mind-blowing.
Josh Hamilton.
Correct. So it's fun. I'm going to take credit for this one. I was shit-talking the A's last week. They're on a 5-game win streak. They're the longest win streak in the MLB.
They fired Hugh Jackson and got a real coach.
I was looking at this. They have the longest win streak right now. Is the Athletic A's.
Of course they do.
Yeah,
not bad for a team that's worse than the LSU baseball team.
Yeah, and they still don't. They're still the winning percentage is up 5% from last year.
Casey, I need you to talk shit about Michigan, Ohio State. You make fun of Michigan, so it's been a couple down years in Columbus here. So
yeah, correct. I'm surprised. I'm truthfully surprised. Let's look at the standings after last week. We talked about who we think's going to win the divisions and everything. But I mean, the Rangers are 5 games ahead of Astros, 6.5 of the Angels, and 10 ahead of the Mariners. So they got a pretty just like it's very similar to the AL East. With the Rays, that's close to that.
We just came off a series with the Rays too, so one a good overall series, but it showed a lot of promise. So I'm happy with the result of what.
Drew, you getting a Rangers jersey, or what's your thoughts on the Rangers?
I'm not getting a Rangers jersey.
Corey Seager, you get the Sandy Leone jersey.
What about a Marcus Semien jersey?
If he pulls out a fantasy baseball championship for me, maybe.
Oh, is he on your team?
Yeah, he was one of my keepers this year.
Okay.
So
he's a top. I think he's a top 5 for MVP right now. So
yeah, he's leading in the All-Star voting too, as well. To Alan's point, the All-Star. And just to run by, it's got Adley Rutschman. Is that how you say it for Baltimore catching?
Baltimore.
Yeah, Vladdy Jr. over at first base, Semien from Texas at second, Bichette of Toronto at short, Chapman, his teammate, at third base. And the outfield's got Judge, Trout, and Alvarez of Houston. National League came out. Murphy's behind the dish with Freeman, Arraez, Arcia.
Arraez is a beast.
Yeah,
Arraez is a beast.
Yep. Arenado at third, and then obviously Gurriel and Kuna, and then Mookie Betts. And I'm sorry about the pronunciation. It's my handwriting, and I have the worst handwriting ever. You'd think I'd be a doctor with my handwriting, but I am not.
I'm surprised the Cardinal made it with how poor they've been playing this year.
I know.
Yeah.
It's true. And we talked last week. No one would expect that. That wasn't even close. Because I was just pulled up again, looking at that stats for that Division 2. Pirates and Brewers, Reds are the top 3 teams. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
This year's something.
Yes.
Yeah.
But hey, speaking of weird and being awkward, hey, it's time to pay the bills, and something I didn't write down but actually typed up myself. Casey, get the guns out. Do you need a pre-workout? We Like Sportz Podcast and Titan Nutrition have teamed up. So head over to titannutrition.net, We Like Sportz, to get 10% off your order.
I got my long sleeves on today, man. I don't.
Well, it's about to rip. I can see that.
There you go.
Boom.
Yeah, so head over Tight Nutrition and We Like Sportz. That's a double play combination right there. So I'm trying to pay the bills here.
The Black Bookie, you can't forget him.
The Black Bookie, thank you for that, Casey. Yes, always keeping the housekeeping in check, and don't forget to check out the Snooze You Lose podcast with Uncle Joe, the Black Bookie. He has you set for his Sunday Snooze You Lose pick of the week. This will surely add to your sports entertainment fun, especially when you got more coin in your purse. And yes,
I got a pick of the night if you would like one.
Yeah, Casey,
Let's go.
I got a very large parlay that'll pay off $3,000 if it hits. So it's Shohei Ohtani home run. It's going to be pulled up to give you the exact details. But Shohei Ohtani home run. It's going to be Nolan Arenado home run. As you could get the trend, this is a home run bet. And then I got to log in, so let me pull it up. If you want to put them like $5 to win $3,000, so.
I'll wait the extra 30 seconds. It's worth it, right?
Yeah. This is 100% worth it.
Yeah.
Arenado has hit home run in the last 3 of his 5 games.
Okay.
So Shohei Ohtani's hit 2 in his last 5. We've got. Let me get it for you. I can't give you the wrong information here. So
No, I've already got it. Yeah.
Well, that would kind of defeat the purpose.
correct. Exactly. I got the DraftKings Sportsbook is a little confusing because it's illegal to gamble in Florida. So if you didn't know that, I know that.
Oh, okay. But you're in Ohio now, so go ahead and
correct.
Well, I got a FanDuel. FanDuel doesn't make you make a new account.
Oh,
Gamble your life away now.
Caesars and MGM, you have to have a separate account for each state. FanDuel
and whoever wants to sponsor us, we're down. FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars. Hey, I'm not going to badmouth any sports book. If you want to join on the We Like Sportz team, hey, we're free. So
all right. Nolan Jones, home run. He's hit 3 in his last 5 games, and then Tyler Stevenson over a half RBI. He's hit that 5 of his last 5 games. So the payoff for that would be $5 to win $3,500, and then it's an Arenado home run, Jones home run, Shohei home run, and then Stevenson RBI.
That's it.
And they said they've hit 3 of the last 5 for 3 of those, and the ones hit 5 of the last 5. So we'll see.
I'm counting my money before it.
I'll buy Alan a We Like Sportz T-shirt if that hits.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hey, you know what? Let's stay on the diamond, Alan. Since it's one of your rivals, obviously the Los Angeles Angels. Will they ever win? They got Trout, they got Ohtani.
You missed out.
Are they ever going to do anything? I mean, obviously you don't want them to, being a Rangers fan, but you
see it more than we do.
Yeah. Here's the thing. This is kind of sad. This is the best that they've looked in the last 3 years. That's the thing. Even with Trout and Ohtani, this is the best that this team has looked. They've had decent pitching. Their offense hasn't been too terrible. I mean, they're still middling around 500, but
well, actually, they're 36 and 31, only 6.5 games out. So I would say, to your point, Alan, this is one of their best showings in a while.
Because you remember last year they started off; they were the best team in baseball at the end of May, and then they just completely tanked the rest of the season.
They should be the best team in baseball. They should be a top 5 team in baseball.
They should be. They should be on paper. But again, Rendon keeps getting hurt. Trout and Ohtani, who knows how long they stay in the lineups. And, I mean, again,
Ohtani won't be in an Angels uniform after this year. So,
I mean, yeah.
That's the way it's
Rangers.
Gonna be.
He's going to the Rangers, I heard.
If it's the Rangers and Astros and in the playoffs, yeah, they're not.
Sound the alarm! I want to be a stat nerd. I did my homework.
Okay.
And, when Ohtani hit his home run the other day, okay, it registered at 112.9 miles per hour. Did you know that in the StatCast era of tracking, Ohtani for a pitcher has the 4 hardest hit home runs in Major League Baseball?
That does not surprise me at all.
What about Chris Davis? Come on.
Right.
You know who else used to mash it though is Zach Greinke. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had one of the harder ones.
Sabathia used to hit some jabs.
What about your boy last week? Your random Indian from last week, Drew?
Bartolo?
Oh, that one,
Bartolo.
I think that was one of the longest recorded home run trots.
I think he's still going around.
Like 30 seconds.
He just got the third.
Yeah. I think it took him like over 30 seconds to run the bases, and he was actually running.
Yeah.
It was like what? He's been there 20 years and he finally hit his first home run.
You want to hear something funny about Bartolo? I remember when he was coming up for the Indians. This is when it's like around 1990.
When you were a preteen, yeah.
Yeah, 1996. I was about 16, 96. And I remember him doing on WUAB Channel 43. They were interviewing him because they were doing some kind of Indians camp or whatever. It was kind of during spring training. He had braces on at the time, and he was skinnier than Arraez. And it's the evolution of Bartolo Colon. I mean, would you say
it's like Barry
he's got
Bonds.
a bowler's body, bodies for darts? Because he's an athlete, I'd say. I mean, still an athlete to this day.
I mean, he's doing behind the back throws at like age 50.
Right. I was gonna say that behind the back throw to first base is one of like the more athletic plays I've seen a pitcher make in a long time.
That's gonna be you tonight, Drew, at the softball field. Your game tonight. You'll be throwing that one behind your back.
My game got canceled because of rain. Because of rain yesterday.
I remember one of his games here in Texas. He almost threw a perfect game against Houston. So, it's hard at that age. It's hard to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say at the age he was at too. It wasn't like he was 25.
No.
Also to Scott Cope, who's in the comments, no comment on that on the A's there. Just put them away. Just put them away. No one wants to watch them. No one wants to see them.
They're heating up. I'm telling you.
No one wants to see them. No one wants to. I mean, they're headed to
Alan, you're the betting expert. Looks like here. So
they're going to Vegas. They'll be fine. They just need to go away. They need to go away. I don't like.
Right, they got the nicest stadium in the league. What are you talking about?
Yeah, man.
Like you don't even know we don't even know like one player on the A's. That's the sad part.
We do. We looked up the roster last week as well.
Yeah.
Casey,
we did a lot of weird things last week.
The only person I know is Laureano, and that's it.
We looked at every team's roster that
and their salary cap.
Yeah.
Correct. To see where the money was going.
Well, I don't want Peyton Vince to get mad at me if I don't follow the bulletproof things that a bullet.
He always follows it to a T.
I know.
Transitioning to the hockey rink.
I'm pretty sure this is the best winning streak the A's have had this decade. So I don't know.
Well, those 5 wins they won is about a quarter of the wins in the season. So in the last 5 games they played, it's a quarter of their wins. So I would say.
Because what are they, like 15 and like 40 something right now?
No, they are. I think they have 19 wins now. Or 20.
19 or 20 they have.
That's crazy.
They said I knew they had a 20% winning percentage last week. I have 25. It is 17 and 50 actually. So they were 12 and 20.
I count the chickens before they had.
I was gonna say because back in like middle of May they hadn't even won double-digit games yet. That was the sad thing. So.
I mean,
so a third of their wins is in the last 5 games.
If they go undefeated the rest of the season, they'll win 112 games.
Well, there you go, Drew. That's stat of the day right there.
Stat that.
Speaking of like I said, Peyton Vince, thank you for having me be the bus driver. I don't know where this bus is going, and it's a little bumpy ride, but I appreciate you guys for taking me with you guys on this journey. But the guy from Florida, Luis Arraez, is that how you say his name?
Arraez?
Yeah, he was on the Twins.
He was on the Twins. Yes.
That's why I know about him.
397 batting average, 0932 OPS. First ever to hit for the cycle for the Marlins. Venezuelan, just like Andres Jimenez. But Drew, talk to me about him. They keep saying he's the best thing since sliced bread. And
let's not crown him as like the greatest baseball player to ever live.
Okay.
But his hard hit rate is like the highest in baseball by a lot. I mean, the guy, it feels like he only hits line drives. So it's just one of those things where like, if he keeps it up, I mean, this guy's going to be a good power hitter and essentially a slugging machine for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the home runs will start to come eventually. Like, I mean, I know he's mashing, but
he's only got one home run.
I think, I mean,
which is crazy. He hit 400 with one home run.
Right. But I think once he gets himself up to speed with the actual like MLB, you'll see him hitting a lot more just because of the way he hits the ball.
I'll just say, just wait for him to go to Yankee Stadium so he can hit a home run in that wiffle ball stadium that they have.
Yep.
Correct. Or even Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati, Great American Small Park. That's another one that you played there.
Great American Small Park. Yeah. Yeah.
But if you look at Arraez, I mean, since he's been in the league, you know, he's hit 334, 321, 294, 316, and 397. He's only hit under 300 once, and even then, it wasn't too much. His career average is 326.
Yeah,
and for 5 years,
he just hits the ball hard.
Yeah,
I mean, hitting the ball hard. That goes so much further. I'd rather have a guy like him than someone who hits 60 home runs and bats 220 with 150 strikeouts. Like, you know, I think he's the antithesis to like the 3 true outcomes in baseball now.
I was gonna say he's part of the reason why the Marlins are kind of surging here a little bit. He's because he's getting on base. He's allowing them to drive in runs, and it's been crazy. I was gonna say, can you imagine Luis Arraez on a team like Atlanta, at a team that can consistently score runs a lot, especially with like Acuna behind him, who is just you want to talk MVPs. Ronald Acuna.
I would trade Shane Bieber for him. I would trade Shane Bieber for him.
That'd be a great trade.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to take it, but I would do.
Well, I'll throw in. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they traded
Brennan.
I was going to say that they traded away Pablo Lopez for him, so it hasn't been too bad for Minnesota. It's just again, Minnesota just needs somebody to hit.
Yeah.
He's only 26 years old. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's still young. That's impressive.
Well, that's why I think you'll see more home runs as he goes on. Like, he's just hitting the ball extremely hard in the gaps. I mean, eventually he gets a little bigger, he gets a little older.
He's 175, 5'10", 175.
Yeah. I think he'll actually start cranking the ball.
Like a Miguel Cabrera, maybe.
Yeah, it could be. If you look at,
he does hit it hard. It's more line drives.
Yeah.
When you look at the Marlins, though, what's the player that's that everyone gets marketing is Jazz Chisholm, right? He's 25. He's only a year younger than Arraez, and he's who goes under the radar, I think, is Arraez, who's hitting playing way better than Jazz.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Jazz was on the cover of the show, so
that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I mean. You look at the Marlins.
He is leading the All-Star voting as of right now, so obviously some people are taking notice of him. So that's good to see.
Jorge Soler as well.
Yeah.
Those three, that's a good trio there.
6'4", 235. Yeah. Other than that, they don't have Yuli Gurriel's on that team. He's 40. I didn't know that. But I talked about this. Neither did I. I talked about this a month ago. I have to bring it up. So Jose Ramirez, right? I remember I said, is he clutch or not? Because there's not many times that you see when he's clutch. I have a screenshot on my phone of Stephen Kwan's story on Instagram, and it's a stat that says in clutch situations, Jose Ramirez is 5 for 6 and coming through in the clutch. So in his career, the 6 spots, he's been like in a certain scenario, bottom of the ninth, et cetera, et cetera. He came through on 5 of those 6. So you prove me wrong because
that makes it 2 for 2 now. You bashed the Oakland A's and they started winning. You started bashing the clutchness of whatever Casey says. It's going to be the opposite in about a week.
To be fair, everybody was bashing the Oakland A's, so you weren't alone in that.
I mean, eventually they got to start winning.
Join the bandwagon, yeah, correct. I don't know about that.
I would say if there's any clutch hitter I've seen from Cleveland the last year or so, it's been Josh Naylor. It seems like anytime a big situation comes out, it's either Ramirez or Naylor that's always, coming up big in the clutch. So,
Ed, what did you call him last week? Remember
I love Josh Naylor's I just love Josh Naylor's energy. I don't know why. It just resonates with me.
You called him a dog last week. Anyway,
he's a dog. He's a dog.
Yeah.
Got that dog in him.
Speaking of dogs, I know we're going to transition here. We're going to go to the NBA, but I want to say this about the Browns got a new dog logo today. It's fine. I mean, I don't know, but it looks like it's the Darth Vader one, but it's missing eyes. I thought it was kind of weird, but we'll leave it at that, and everybody can, that's going to be our logo.
Do you even pupil there, doggy?
Yeah. But let's jump to the hardwood real quick. I know, is it? And I think it is inevitable. I think that the series will be a gentleman's sweep. I think it ends tonight in Denver with Jokic and Jamal Murray and Aaron Gordon and such winning a ring. I think it's good for the NBA because I think you got an up and coming team that can, obviously they could go back to back. They could be 3 out of 4, but they might not be because, the NBA, I think what's fun about the NBA right now is, each year you got a bunch of teams that can kind of compete. But I do think the Nuggets are just a little bit above everybody else because of the way that they play. And I'll go around. Alan, I'll start with you. What do you think? What are your thoughts about the NBA finals?
Well, the Nuggets are one of those teams where they just play fundamental basketball. You don't see that anymore. You don't see teams play fundamental basketball as much as what the Denver Nuggets do. And that's why Jokic gets triple doubles all the time, is because he's a facilitator. He's the center of their offense pretty much. You're going to get those wide open shots on the perimeter, because you're going to get 3 guys trying to guard Jokic at the same time, in the paint. So that makes for a perfect offense to, for him to facilitate the ball, get some block shots, rebounds, and what have you, score some points, which is kind of ironic because there's a stat that says anytime Jokic scores over 40, anytime he scored over 40, the Nuggets haven't won. They haven't won. They're 0-4. So if I'm Miami, the way to beat them is to make sure that Jokic is doing all the scoring. That's really what you got to do. But because they're such a good mesh together, because they play team basketball and they play fundamental basketball, it's so hard to stop this team. And I agree with that. It's a gentleman's sweep tonight because I think the Nuggets are just too much for this young Miami team.
All right, Alan, one last question, and then Casey, I'll go to you, and then Drew. When you're done with your Nuggets analysis, because it seems like it's going that way, and nobody's really talking about the Heat. Alan, how many McNuggets can you eat in one setting?
If
you had to.
Probably about 20 or 30.
Okay.
Give or take.
Not too high. Drew, I'm on the same as you, though.
What you got, Drew? And then we'll go to Casey. But remember to answer the question about the McNuggets.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to be right about the NBA and NHL finals. The 1-1 with Florida, and it being the Nuggets winning, I think they're going to go 0-2 now. So I think I'm wrong on there.
That's okay. We don't know. Fact checking. We don't do that around here.
Yeah, no, I'm wrong. I think I said
freezing cold takes
to be safe, but I wasn't. But yeah, everything I said last week about the Nuggets is essentially what we saw play out. I just don't think the Heat have anyone who can match up with Jokic at all. I think he's just that much better than anyone the Heat have, and. Like Alan was saying, I mean, the fundamental basketball, I mean, he's showing everyone why he should have won MVP again this year. Yeah. I mean, that's all it's coming down to is he single-handedly is carrying this team and making everyone else on his team better. You want to talk about valuable player, it's him. Yeah. From every aspect of the game, he is valuable.
McNuggets, Drew? How many McNuggets?
I haven't had nuggets in forever. But I did eat like a slab and a half of ribs in like an hour and a half sitting over the weekend. So probably like 30, 40. I could probably put them down.
Okay.
All right. So I got 3 things.
Were they
three things for you.
Pork ribs. Oh yeah. We have the have the Parma Ribbon Rock this weekend.
I thought Ed was going to drive up from Columbus for it.
I thought he was.
I should have.
You left me hanging.
They had a wanted sign for your face on there. We're looking for Ed in Columbus.
They wanted an MC for the award ceremony for best rib. You weren't there. Some random.
So Peyton had to step up.
Yeah, I need to get a better assistant. I need a better assistant than they're not keeping me on my. I'm too many bookings. I got it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's your kid. Your kid's your booker. I thought so. You get to tell them to step their game up.
Speaking of kids, I
was going to say that's why he wears suits all the time.
I took my boy who's 13 to the mall the other day to get him some new basketball shoes. Okay. I didn't know what he wanted. So he's looking at, we're going to all the different finish line, champs, all these different places. Okay. And he wanted these LaMelos. Okay. And I'm like, okay, they're cool. And then we went to the finish line and he kind of shocked me a little bit. I didn't know he got the pink lemonade Jordan Jason Tatum ones. And I was like, those are pretty nice. I'm like,
You get him a jersey?
I don't bleed green, and I hope that he can score. I hope that he can score 51 points in those shoes, but I hope he doesn't get hurt like Game 7.
I mean, if he's Ed's son in Columbus, yeah, he's probably going to drop 51. Then
51,
I mean,
50 piece.
Ed's son in Columbus.
Casey,
Yeah.
what's your Nuggets take here?
all right, 3 things for
You
you.
got to trade. You got to trade. You got to trademark that, Ed. You got to trade.
I agree. Ed's son in Columbus. I'm telling you. Ed in Columbus' son could be another one. But
So Columbus better.
yeah, I agree. So do you remember who the last pick in the All-Star draft was?
Oh, it was
Wasn't it Jamal Murray?
Mm-mm. It was Jokic. It was the first pick as a starter. Yeah, it was Jokic.
Wow.
He was the last one sitting on the stage, not picked.
Yeah.
So
Does that bring
you
back
can look
memories,
at him now.
Casey, for you back in school?
Correct. Look at me now. The second thing is
Titan nutrition.
the second thing is there was a TikTok I saw, and there was a guy like making fun of ESPN, and it was like, tonight the Denver Nuggets won the NBA Finals. In other news, where's LeBron going to go in Lakers? What are they going to do in this offseason?
Yep.
I'm sure after the Nuggets win, it's going to change. It's not going to get a big headline, right? After the first 2 days, it's going to get forgotten pretty much in my eyes for that one. And the third thing is the Cavs. Do you think that they resemble the Cavs? Do you think the Cavs could be like them in 2 years from now? Because they play team basketball. I feel like, they should play team basketball. They get a few more pieces around them. They don't really have, Mitchell's a big superstar, I'd say, but like Jokic, but they have more. In a perfect scenario, they have more than one guy that can score the ball, right? You have Garland, you have Mobley if he steps up again. Allen doesn't shoot himself in the the playoffs like he did last year. I see, the Cavs in a best case scenario following that because they're not a big 3-point shooting team.
No.
They don't live and die by the three. They just live and die by more than Mitchell dropping 50 points a game. If their supporting players could do a little bit more, or does it resemble more like the Heat, right? With Jimmy Butler and Mitchell and then the other supporting players around being on and off, and that's what kind of kills us. What team do you think that we more resemble, the Heat or the Nuggets? In 2 years, a year from now.
Does Mitchell go to New York? I don't know.
No, if Mitchell stays with the Cavs.
That's a good question, actually. But here's the problem with the Cavs. The reason the Nuggets comparison, like I get the comparison, but the problem is, why did they get stomped by the Knicks? It was not.
Their bigs are too soft. They got out-rebounded.
They got demolished on the boards. What are the Nuggets?
Surprisingly,
one of the best rebounders in the NBA, and one of the best rebounders who also is a great passer. What do the Cavs have? They have, Darius Garland, who's a good passer sometimes. Donovan Mitchell, who is a great scorer during the season, and this playoffs was, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who got absolutely bullied, and a non-existent 3-man. So it's they need some cohesion, and they need an actual facilitator and someone who's tough on the boards. And
they're Miami, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, Miami without playoff success.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because look at Bam. I mean, Bam isn't, him and Jared Allen. I don't think Bam's that much better than Jared Allen, truthfully. The playoff wise, I mean, Allen sucked, but like a normal regular season, I think that Allen and Bam are pretty equal. I would say. Yeah. And Mobley's a difference maker, though. If Mobley
can turn into the player,
Mobley
yes,
needs
if he
about
becomes what we
30
want
or
him
40
to.
pounds.
That's the difference maker, I think. I think Garland and Mitchell are who they are.
If Isaac Okoro makes those 3-pointers, come on, let's blame Okoro. He had wide open threes and all day was missing them, and I don't know.
That's the story of his career.
Yeah.
But I
think
the Cavs are a few pieces away. I mean, was this season exciting? Yeah.
Yes.
But at the same time, it really exposed what's wrong with them.
If the Cavs played the way they did in the regular season, do you think they could have been where the Heat are at right now? Because if we beat the Knicks, you think we could have beat the Heat? Like if they would have played the way that we know they could play.
Yes.
That's why I think that we are similar to the Heat because they got, once they beat the Bucks, it wasn't, I don't know. Yeah. I think that we had a shot. If we would have played the way that we know the Cavs played.
Alan, what's your perspective on the Cavs? What do you think about that? Because I always love to get the different person from a different, geographic area. What are the Cavs to you? What do you see them as?
I mean, they're not a bad team. I would I would
You're
say
not high on him, though.
like,
That doesn't
I'm
sound
not
too.
high. I'm not high on him. No. I mean, had they won out of that first series, they might have stood a better chance against Miami, but I still think they wouldn't have gotten past Boston. I think even with Boston has with just Tatum and Brown, they're a good enough team to get
and the playoff experience
and the
Yeah.
playoff
That's
experience
what-
and what
yeah.
have you. But once they get more playoff experience under their belt, they might be able to establish themselves a little bit better. But I would say that they're probably, if I'm comparing them to a team in the West, I would say Oklahoma City, maybe.
Whoa, Alan.
Because you've got
I'm gonna
some
leave,
pieces
Alan.
there. You've got some pieces there. I like, Donovan Mitchell obviously was the big signing. You got a lot of young pieces there, and it's a team that's going to build for the future. So, there's a lot to be excited about in Cleveland. You had great success this year, and I'm sure not many people expected them to be a top 4, top 5 team this year. So in the East this year, so you're already ahead of schedule. So
Is Chet Holmgren going to be the real deal? What's he going to be?
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see when he's actually healthy. But
Yeah, I'm kind
But
of.
is it bad to be ahead of schedule and when you're rebuilding? Like, because
What's the negative?
Because here's the thing. Being ahead of schedule, according to the fans, like outperforming where you're supposed to be, the fans get this expectation that the team is better than it is. I think the Cavs outplayed how good they are. I think they played better than they are on paper. So next year, if they add a piece but don't quite look as good, now the fans are pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
We want to fire JB.
It's like the Guardians last year, kind of like compared to this year.
I mean, while you're rebuilding, you got to expect that there's going to be lulls in the success. Getting hot at the end of the year and making the playoffs was good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then getting beat by the Knicks exposed them. But next year,
It hurt.
Next year, if they don't get out of the first round, but they play better, the fans are going to go ballistic. I mean, you're seeing it. I mean, I always go back to hockey, but the Rangers made the Eastern Conference Finals last year, right? No one saw that coming. It was, where did this team come from? They're too young. No one has playoff experience. And then this year, they got bounced by the Devils in the first round. First move was firing the head coach.
It's what they do in hockey. You guys fire coaches in hockey like it's nothing. That's what they do.
They do it in the NBA too, though.
I heard they're signing Torts. I heard is going to sign there.
I would love it. I'd love it.
I'm selfish. I'm being selfish. The bus driver's being selfish right now. Drew, you're a hockey guy. I need to know this. Mike Babcock, good hire for the Blue Jackets. And who do you take at number 3? I like Carlson.
Alan, do you know hockey at all?
Short segment, Drew.
If there was a team that I would cheer
Babcock's
for, it's
interesting.
Pittsburgh, and I'm kind of upset because they got bounced by Florida. So, and now Florida's in the final, so it's like great.
Yeah.
You weren't even supposed to be there, and you're in the goddamn final.
Babcock can be a good coach.
Eyes on you, Drew. Here,
he's got a lot of baggage. He's an interesting character.
He is.
Columbus likes to bring it. Then what was the other one?
We had Torts a couple years ago.
I like Tortorella. He's a Rangers coach. He's great. He's one of the best American coaches ever.
And then the second question was with the third pick, because I think Fantilli and obviously what's his face, Connor Bedard's going to be gone.
You said Carlson?
Yeah, Carlson. Yeah, Leo Carlson.
Yeah, they could do that. That would make sense.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't tank well enough to get Bedard.
They
so
did.
They don't deserve a good pick, honestly.
All right, enough hockey talk. I tried, guys. I had to throw that out there. I'm sorry. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do, we can talk, I'm going to give you a choice here we can talk about, and then I'm going to go to my trivia game because I'm a guy of history, and this trivia is a little bit morbid, but it'll be fun. So we can either talk about the PGA Tour and LIV Golf, or do you guys want to talk about the Browns getting their cars stolen, or if you got something else, feel free to throw it in there. What do you guys want to do here?
Dealer's choice,
I think.
Are we surprised that some of these free agents haven't been signed yet?
Yeah, let's go. Okay, Alan, let's go.
Like
go ahead,
Kareem
Alan.
Hunt, Ezekiel Elliott, these guys who have been kind of just sitting there for a while. Are we surprised that these guys haven't been signed yet?
It does to me, but does it prove the fact that it's a negative for running backs in the future? I feel right because we know before they're replaceable, right? And you've got those 3 names you named. They're pretty big names, huge names for running backs, right? And they're not even. I mean, we're at June 12th. They're not even signed yet, right? So is it? I think it's bad for the future of running backs that they're kind of just interchangeable, right? You have some guys that like Pittsburgh. I hate the Steelers, but you got Najee Harris, and then who's behind him?
Why don't they sign
right?
Kareem Hunt?
There's a lot of teams that it's committee. You know what I mean? You got a guy, and then the people behind him. It's kind of help them rest, right? You got a good old line; they can get a few yards, but that's what I think the negative is. It's shifting from, I would say, maybe 10 years ago, right? I think running backs are kind of big, and I think as the years go by, it's losing more and more. Like for example, Saquon Barkley, right?
Yeah,
he gets drafted this year, let's say. Where do you think he's going to get drafted as high as he did when he got drafted by the Giants? No, exactly. So that's the thing. I think that the running back, it's a bad time to be a running back.
It's a devalued position now.
Yeah, great time to be a receiver, bad time for a running back.
Yeah,
and Saquon's holding out too. So
which this all just hurts him. And as the resident Giants fan,
correct.
He got
the Cowboys fan right here. So
he got offered. Saquon got offered like $13 million before, it was on the table, and he said, "No, I should get more. I deserve more than that. Look, I just came back from injury," and the Giants were like, "All right, well, the time passed. Offers off the table. We're starting from scratch again." I don't think he's going to see $13 million again, especially with those guys you named sitting on free agency. But all of them also think they're owed $13 to $15 million or more. Like Zeke thinks he's worth more than all of them combined, probably. But at the same time, running backs, this is a long time coming. Running backs, no matter how good they were, only had a short span where they were healthy and consistently good. That's just been true for a long time. That before, I think it's like 27 is when you generally see running backs statistically trend downward. Receivers, it's closer to 29 or 30. So the NFL being a money analytics league, people realize, why not get a Justin Jefferson and pay him a boatload of money and encourage him to stay with us forever, because he's going to be good for another 3-4 additional years.
And look at the teams that are, look at the Chiefs, right? They don't have a running back that's, lights out. You really don't. Look at the teams that are successful. They don't really have guys that are, big running backs. And I was going to, like, Bijan Robinson this year, right? If he was drafted in the Barkley draft, like instead of Barkley, you think, would he still have went that, like, where Barkley probably went if they just swapped, draft classes? I think that because he was, hyped up. But again, taking a running back on the top, it's you only have him for a couple of years. That's the catch to it. And
really, if there's one guy who's going to get that money, it's probably going to be Dalvin Cook. But even then, I don't even think Dalvin's
where does he end up
that.
at, Alan? Where's he going to end up?
Either Miami or Dallas. Those are the two teams I'm hearing. Miami's the favorite, obviously, because he has connections there. He's from there. That's where he wants to go. That's the ultimate destination for him. You look at what that offense can do. It's perfect for Dalvin Cook. He could be the thumper in their offense, while as you have Mitchell and the other guy. They could be the change of pace backs. Yeah. Jeff Wilson. It works out perfectly for them. And Dallas is a good spot because he's basically Ezekiel Elliott, but better. He's a younger version of what Zeke is to the Cowboys.
The Cowboys can't operate with two running backs. They just showed it. I mean, they had Zeke and Pollard, and Pollard was just significantly better because he fit their scheme. Pollard and Dalvin Cook play a similar game now. Dalvin Cook is not a bruiser like Zeke was, and Zeke stopped being that, like, just absolute bruiser of a running back, and that's why Pollard was so successful, is because they don't need that in their offense. It's not like Tennessee, who built their entire offense around Derrick Henry running the ball, 30 times a game and just absolutely bullying the defense. The Cowboys don't have that offense. They've invested so much in their receivers and they've committed to Dak. I don't know that picking up Dalvin Cook is a good move for them. I hope they do it. I really do. But I don't think it's a good move, and that's why I hope they do it. I think they'd be better.
They could go get D-Hop, though.
Who knows where the hell he's going to go?
I was going to say something. I don't even know.
But Dalvin Cook, I think the best spot for any of these running backs is Buffalo. The best spot for any of these running backs is
That's another example, though. You look at Buffalo; they don't have any big, running backs either. That like the teams that are really good don't have big name running backs.
Their big running back is Josh Allen.
But the reason I don't think they're over the hump is they don't even have a serviceable running back.
Yeah,
like
the Ravens too.
They don't have a middle of the road running back, which all the other successful teams do. I mean, the Chiefs.
I put Kareem Hunt in Buffalo, and they would probably go over them.
They gave Lamar Jackson franchise money for a running back.
Yep.
J.K. Dobbins, though, he was hurt, but he was good. J.K. Dobbins,
yep.
He's good if he's not hurt.
They had three running backs. They had three running backs at the beginning of the year. Gus Edwards.
Exactly. They had no one. I guess Edwards too. Yeah. So since you were on here earlier, Drew, I want to ask Alan this. I asked him what he thought of Dak. Who would you prefer to have, Dak or Daniel Jones, Alan? Since Drew's a big. He thinks highly of Danny Dimes, I think. So what do you think, Alan?
Dak Prescott.
Drew, what about you?
He knows it's Dak. He can't say it, though.
No, it's tough because I think Daniel Jones last year is different than I was thinking about him the years before. I mean, he was a turnover machine the years before, and last year he had the lowest interception rate.
I will say this to kind of go with
interception rate of anyone in the NFL.
I'll say this to kind of go along with Drew. If Daniel Jones does play like he did last year, this year, then I might change my tone a little bit.
I just look at Danny Dimes as being maybe his ceiling is like a Kirk Cousins.
I think Danny Dimes and Dak were actually similar before last year. Because the turnover rates were high, but they had playmaking ability, and neither one of them tends to come up in the clutch. But last year, I think Danny Dimes is the only reason the Giants are as successful as they are. I mean, him and Saquon. Saquon had a baller year. But who are Danny Dimes' receivers, right? I mean, Dak at least has,
Kenny Galladay. What are you talking about? What do you?
Yeah.
Dude, the dog. What do you mean?
No. It's Kenny Fallaway.
Shepherd.
Yeah.
It's Kenny Fallaway.
Right.
He just falls away from the.
Drew got a jersey. He got a jersey of Galladay. I think I saw.
Oh yeah. It's framed up in my.
Does it fall off the wall? Does it fall?
Yeah, it fall off the wall. Yeah.
It's like Dwayne Bowe for the Browns. That's exactly him.
Right.
Austin Hooper, remember he used to catch it 4 yards and fall out?
Yeah, correct.
But we've reached a point in the show that I think it's time for a little trivia time. And here's what I was thinking. I was thinking in my head how I'm going to do this now, and I think this is the best way to do it. Alan, I'm going to have you pick your partner here when it comes up. And here's what it is, okay? June 12th, this 29 years ago on June 12th, I was a 14-year-old boy, and my parents left. This is behind the curtain here. My parents left, and they went to Cleveland at the time. So I threw a little party, okay? It was a little pool party or whatever like that. Parents came home. I had to get people out the house, okay? But that's neither here nor there. No names, please. But later on that day, a major event happened. That major event being one, O.J. Simpson allegedly killed 2 people. Allegedly, I say, because he was obviously found not guilty. So it's been 29 years ago today. So we're going to play a little trivia game, O.J. Simpson trial trivia today. And Alan, since I know you're probably not as old as I am, maybe these questions
I'm not either.
It's easy for you. So, Alan, here's what I'm going to have you do. You're going to pick your partner. I'm going to ask you the question. You can get help from your partner if you want to. The other person who you don't pick, there's 10 questions. They're going to say how many you get right or wrong, and they have to be within plus or minus. We'll say.
God. I'm not prepared for this.
No, I was. So who are you picking, Casey or Drew, for your partner? Tag team.
Where's it at? There's Drew at here.
Oh, he's over there.
These questions are not too hard. I'll give you that. Okay.
Let's go, Drew.
Okay, going with Drew.
There you go.
So Casey. So 10 questions. How many do you think Alan/Drew are going to get right? Not 10.
Oh, yeah, you're right. 5, 6.
Okay.
6.
Okay.
All right.
I'll go with 5. That way, plus or minus. So anywhere between, if you get 7, if you get above that, good for you, Alan. Okay. So first question. Okay, it's not okay. After allegedly killing Ron Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson, O.J. Simpson flew to New York, Boston, Chicago, or Miami. Where did O.J. Simpson fly to after allegedly killing 2 people? Was it New York, Miami, Chicago, or Boston? Drew, you can help me.
I'm thinking.
Okay. All right. It's where he cut his hand. He was on the airplane and he supposedly
I
cut
know.
his hand. Yeah, I think he cut his hand doing something else, but he said he cut his hand on a bottle.
I want to say it was Miami, but I'm not positive.
Alan,
what were the options again?
It was New York, Boston, Chicago, Miami.
See, the only one that makes sense is Miami too. Like, it just seems like it is.
Final answer. It was the Windy City of Chicago. He had something.
No.
Damn it.
All right, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, this one might be a little easier. Okay, OJ stands for orange juice, Orenthal James, Orenthal juice, or overly judgmental.
Orenthal James.
Orenthal James.
Okay, we got one. Okay,
That was the T-ball.
Come on,
Yeah,
juice and loose,
I had
baby.
That was Little League.
tee him
The
high
juice
and let him
and
fly. Okay. O.J. Simpson lived in what suburb of Los Angeles? Was it Bel Air, Calabasas, Brentwood, or West Hollywood?
Ooh.
I'm thinking Brentwood.
It's either Brentwood or it's West Hollywood.
Go with Brentwood. Alan, you're right. It is Brentwood.
Brentwood.
Okay,
Yep.
so you're 2 out of 3.
Let's go.
Who
I
was
knew it was one of
O.J.
the nicer ones.
Who was O.J. Simpson's first attorney? Okay, so he had the pre-trial and then he had
It's Jackie Childs from Seinfeld, I thought.
That's a good.
Right.
Your face is my case, right? Okay, so was it A. F. Lee Bailey, who's from Cleveland? Was it Marcia Clark, Robert Shapiro, or Johnny Cochran? His first, I'll give you a hint, first attorney. So that's
Cochran was on the trial team,
right,
and so it's not him.
right.
And then Shapiro was, I think, also on his trial team with Rob Kardashian. I think it was the 3 of them.
Yes.
And then that one woman. I think it's the attorney from Cleveland because that's the only one that's.
I was going to say the second one.
Marcia Clark was the prosecutor.
Right. So was it?
You knew the name was familiar.
Okay, I'll give you a hint. He did LegalZoom commercials.
Wow.
You were right. I'll get Robert Shapiro. It was Shapiro.
Yeah.
It was Shapiro. But you were right with Kardashian. It was Shapiro and Kardashian were the 2 that
Right.
you were right. Absolutely right about
Well,
that.
A history lesson for me over here.
Yeah. Now this one's a fun one. I think you'll get this one.
The only reason the Kardashians were famous.
that is correct.
OJ is to blame.
OJ is to blame.
That's okay. Thank you, OJ. Well, Ray J and OJ. Imagine that.
Ray J and OJ.
After the Bronco chase, police arrested O.J. Simpson where? Was it at the Compton swap meet? Was it in the Dodgers Stadium parking lot? In his own driveway? Or at an In-N-Out Burger parking lot?
His driveway. They were driving home.
Yes, that is correct. Look at this. All right. Now, this one you might not know, but I just want to say this. I've had interaction with Kato Kalin, the house get Kato Kalin, the one with the long hair, on Twitter. Okay. So Kato Kalin, I've actually had some interaction with him. So I know this answer. This one's a tough question. You might not know, but the only reason I know it is because Kato Kalin is actually a big baseball fan. And he is a fan of this Midwestern team, either the Cubs, the White Sox, the Brewers, or the Twins. Kato Kalin. I'll give you a hint. Do you like to drink beer?
Milwaukee.
It's Brewers.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta give it.
Brewers.
I
I was thinking Brewers even without that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I had no idea. Why would anyone know the answer to that question?
Only because I've had
tight.
some
That's tight with them. Yeah.
Because I was
You
like,
guys are best
Chicago.
bros.
The Chicago ones don't make any sense, and then the other 2, I was like, if it's an obscure answer, so it has to be Milwaukee.
Yeah. I was amazed. You know what? If you get on, I think it's at Kato Kalin, whatever, like that. If you actually write on Twitter, he'll respond to you. He's pretty.
What else does he have to do?
He didn't do much. I didn't do much before when he was living with OJ. Now he's not doing much.
Right.
After. God bless. Only in America. God bless him. All right, this one's a softball, maybe. Simpson's defense team was known as the Magnificent Four, the A Team, the Fab Five, or the Dream Team. Simpson's defense team was known as the A-Team, the Magnificent Four, the Fab Five, or the Dream Team?
Oh,
Magnificent Four.
I think it was the Dream Team. It was his Dream Team of lawyers.
Oh, Drew. Yes, you were right. It is the Dream Team.
Told you picked the right partner, Alan.
Yeah, you did.
I mean,
this one,
he picked a lawyer.
This one boggles my mind. Right? How long did it take the jury to render a not guilty verdict? Was it A, 3 hours, B, 3 days, 1 week, or 3 weeks? 3 hours, 3 days, 1 week, or 3 weeks? How long did it take the jury of 12 to say, Orenthal James Simpson, you are not guilty?
It's not 3 hours or 3 days, because that was pending for a long time. The jury verdict was like, it's a week or 3 weeks. 3 weeks seems super long, though. It seems super long. That's why I want to pick 3 weeks, because that's like absurd.
What does Alan want to pick? What do you
I
want
was
to
going
pick?
to say 3 as well, because it just sounds out there.
Okay. Well, it was 3 hours. That was the amazing part.
Was it really 3 hours?
Yeah, it was. The funny thing was, it was like 150-some long day trial, and it came down to 3 hours. So people were always saying, "Would the jury listen to the people or not?" I don't know. We'll never know. They
the
obviously
club didn't fit,
You must have quit.
and they did.
and that was actually one of my questions. And who said that?
Johnny Cochran.
Exactly. Okay.
The
And then the
Chewbacca.
last one. This is the best one of all. Actually, probably sports related. So Peyton Vince, don't get mad at me. On October 3rd is when the jury found OJ not guilty. The Cleveland Indians beat who that day? It was their first postseason win in 41 years. The game went to extra innings, and Tony Perez Albert Bell hit the home run to tie it, and Perez hit the home run to win it against this team. Was it the Yankees? Was it the Orioles? Was it the Red Sox? Or was it the Mariners?
I have no idea.
Red Sox.
Alan, you were right. Ding, 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 ding. It was the Red Sox. And you know what? Take that, Mo Vaughn. You stole Albert Bell's 1995 MVP. You didn't deserve it, Mo Vaughn. The Tribe went ahead and swept the Red Sox in the ALDS in 1995. So
Mo Vaughn ran so slow that if you put him in slow motion, he'd be walking backwards.
He'd be walking like Bartolo Colon hit the home run trot.
Well, Casey, you said 5, but you know, with those dream teams over there between Drew and Allen, they got, I think, 9 or 8. I don't pay attention, but whatever.
Take the over.
It's over.
Yeah.
You got some winners. We're all winners here. But people that check us out on the We Like Sportz podcast, you're definitely a winner. And so let's do this. Let's go random Cleveland Indian. Throw out a random Ranger, Allen. And go ahead, Casey. Start this shindig off.
So I got one interesting fact. So do you know that in Major League, Pedro Serrano actually hit those home runs? Those are not fake. The actor who hit them, who plays in the Allstate commercials, he actually hit those home runs. And he said like it was so that when he carried the bat in that game where he hit the home run, he didn't do that on purpose. He said he was just so with all the adrenaline from the stadium because it was packed.
Yeah.
He carried that bat on accident. He didn't mean to take it with him around the bases. And the second, the random Indian is Dan Otero. Let me go. A recent one is Dan Otero.
Wow.
That's what I'll go with.
Okay.
So there you go. That's all from Casey today.
Okay. Alan, throw out a Ranger. Give me a Ranger. Give me a Ranger from the pad. Give me something fun here.
Vlad Guerrero.
Vlad Guerrero. I mean, yeah, Vlad Guerrero was something.
Sammy
special.
Sosa.
Sammy Sosa was
Rangers.
another one.
Rafael Palmeiro, wasn't he on the?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember who it was, but he's our he has the
Sandy
most
Leon's a
consecutive-
random Ranger.
Yeah, Sandy Leon's a random Ranger. Yeah, he has because this reminded me of it because he had I can't remember who his name is, but he has the most consecutive games with the hit streak in our team history. And I only remembered that because Marcus
I think
Semien
Columbus, I think was.
Marcus
it's
Semien
definitely-
actually has number 2. So which is kind of
That was Ed Columbus's little league team was the Rangers.
Oh yeah, we run ruled everybody.
hang on a second.
No ice cream unless you run rule them.
That's what I tell his son now.
I do. Oh, he's running out. He's doing suicides in the driveway right now.
He's still until the podcast is done. You ain't coming
Until
inside.
it's done. Keep going, guys. He's like, are you gonna end it, Dad? Are you gonna end it? No, son. Keep going.
We're going all night.
We're going on that. True. Random Indian. Who you got? Or Guardian. I don't want to upset people.
You know, because he hit a home run against the Red Sox in my first Indians playoff game, Roberto Perez.
Oh.
Yep. I bet my buddy that he would hit a home run to right field, and he did, and beers were on my buddy for the whole night. So
I got it.
I'll take it.
I got it. Gabe Kapler.
Gabe Kapler. Yeah.
Gabe
He
Kapler.
was the coach.
Yeah.
Wasn't he coached for? Was it the Rays? Did he coach the Rays?
I think he did coach
Or
the
Twins?
Rays. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Was it?
Didn't he play for the
one of
Tigers
those.
too?
Yeah, Gabe Kapler has our longest winning streak in team history. So
Wow.
I
Okay.
was gonna
He's
give
the
you a
manager for
random,
the. He's
New
the manager
York
for the
player.
Giants.
Oh, okay. Well, congratulations, Gabe Kapler.
Yeah, good work. Good hustle.
And I'm going to go with out of the bullpen, Rafael Betancourt for the
Okay.
Yeah, Milton Bradley.
no game
Another
over.
Milton
another
Bradley.
Ranger, Milton Bradley.
Game
Yeah,
over.
Milton Bradley. Yeah, correct.
Game over. But, Alan, thank you for stopping by, giving us your Rangers and some of your Cowboys perspectives because we love them. And
Drew
so
loves the Cowboys. They're on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about them Cowboys?
It's
Alan.
okay. On here, they call me a closet Eagles fan because I picked them to win the division last year. So
That's disgusting. First off.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
As a Giants fan, I'm embarrassed for you for picking the Eagles to win. I refuse to pick Philadelphia to win anything.
We'll have
ever,
them fight Casey.
and I made it very obvious.
Here's the thing. I'm an Oklahoma Sooner as well. So, and their quarterback is one Jalen Hurts,
Boomer
who just
Sooner.
graduated this year from Oklahoma. So
You're a Buccaneers fan then too, right?
Don't care.
Baker
I'm
Mayfield.
a Syracuse
and a
guy.
Cardinals fan, and
The Cardinals
I'm a
fan,
Syracuse guy.
and then wherever Caleb. Well, I was gonna say wherever Caleb Williams goes, but he took his ball and went to USC. So I don't really care about him.
Big Ten school coming up. Big Ten school.
But Alan, I'm a Syracuse guy, and Donovan McNabb could go to hell for his entire NFL career. So at least I'm dedicated. Okay.
Well,
Before we go, did you see who was on the Pat McAfee show today?
No.
Brownie the Elf.
Brownie the Elf. I just opened Twitter and that's the first. Brownie the Elf was on the Pat McAfee show today.
I wish Pat McAfee would have
Great.
body slammed him, but that's another story.
That's next week's.
That's that right. That's
What
that,
do you wish Pat McAfee would have done to Brownie the Elf?
No, he would have hit him with a
Brownie the Elf hit a half-court shot or something. I'm still watching right here. I don't know what's going on. Or a three-pointer. Or a free throw. Oh, he had a free throw. No big deal.
We're almost done. Oh, my kid's panting in the driveway. I think he's out of water.
He sees him in the window.
Yeah, he sees
The water bowl ran out.
Yeah, he's not moving. Actually, I think we got to end this. But I want to thank you guys to all our guests. Join us. We Like Sportz Podcast. We're holding it down. We're trying to have some fun, and appreciate it. We'll be back same time, same place next week. And Alan,
I'll be back in Florida next Monday. So
okay, all right. Well, enjoy your time in Cleveland.
I'll the tank top on for you next week.
Oh, thank you.
I think I'm going to be busy. My camera's not going to be working.
Alan,
If you
tell
want to
us.
see, I have a sunburn that's like a tank top from the game yesterday. I have a sunburn from a tank top. You want to see that? It looks just like I got one shirt on. So
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see.
Let's talk sports, Alan. Tell us where where everybody can find you at, because I always like to promote here.
So you can find me on Twitter at 8pro. It's 30. You can find me everywhere on the Let's Talk Sports Network. Got shows Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, as I've mentioned before.
Yes.
A bunch of stuff going on. This is my 4th guest appearance in a row in 4 straight days. So it's been awesome. So also thank you guys for having me. This has been fun. I've enjoyed it immensely. So would love to come back one day. So I'm excited.
Well, you're the Cal Ripken of guest appearances, so we'll get you back on. No doubt about that.
No. That's Bobby G. I'm still trying to catch him.
Well, maybe
once Ed starts going 3 days a week with our show, then we'll we'll have some more guests on.
Yeah, don't worry.
There we go.
Good job. But this is our show, guys, and have a good one. And see you when we see you. Bye.